What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Trapper channel, coming to you with a Friday post-trade deadline edition of NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. This is a little reminiscent of Wednesday where, there were some interesting things as far as tons of moving pieces. Had the one play out of 11 games. Well, I have one play in 7, but 2 prospective plays, 4 leans, including the first game, which I think could be a prop heaven, depending on how things pan off. Go to at Eric Lindquist. I threw my prop thread out, gave out a bunch of free props there on today's show. Well, not on today's show, in today's post, talking through the process of how I landed on Amin Thompson over 5.5 there, over 4.5 rebounds, and 5.5 rebounds for Christian Brown, who, well, he's going to be playing there without Jamal Murray. Very curious to see how things change in that game. That starts in a couple of minutes. But either way, I don't want to waste your time here on this video. We're going to talk pretty quickly about how things have changed, what happened in the trade landscape, about the players in play on Friday. We're not going to cover the Golden State stuff. That ended up going down here on Thursday, although Jimmy Butler, of course, sounds like he's going to be playing like this weekend. So anyway, lots of stuff that's going to be going there. Saturday, Anthony Davis for Dallas. Dallas up 11 at half here against Boston. Producer Jacob not in good spirits, but I'm in great spirits. Lindy 5-0. We're going to have Super Bowl weekend. We're going to have tons of opportunities to make tons of NBA money leading into the MLB season, which is now less than a month and a half away. That is insane to say out loud, and real ones know. I got you. Anyway, producer Jacob's ready to rock. He's got his parents to go hang out with. Oh, I'm going to go hang out with my parents. Let's get to the picks. This is probably the game I'm the most interested in, period. And once again, De'Aaron Fox kind of hit that one on the head. Probably, I don't know, it felt like the best analysis I've had of the year, and it came to fruition even with Chris Paul in that lineup. But that's how San Antonio runs their offense. It's kick it out to the corners, have shooters knock it down, pick and roll with Wemby at the top of the key, let it create. And De'Aaron Fox, once he was knocking down the mid-range jumper and they had to respect it for Atlanta, it was a stone-cold disaster. Now, this is a lower total than what we had going up against Atlanta. And Charlotte, well, they are a completely different basketball team. I don't even know where to start with it. We have so much moving pieces here in this one that usually leads to some uncertainty in the marketplace. And I am willing to make large stands in these kind of spots. We have LaMelo Ball questionable. We have Josh Green, Miles Bridges. I expect to stay in that starting unit. But then I think Dalton Knecht starts right from the get-go over Nick Smith Jr. You trade for Dalton Knecht, the rookie, somebody that, obviously you had Mark Williams that was there, and he's now departed. And where did he go? Well, he's with the Lakers. That's wild to say out loud. Not going to be playing here on Thursday. But Jusuf Nurkic is going to be your starting center for Charlotte. And I am so unbelievably interested in a Jusuf Nurkic ladder. It's kind of ridiculous. Now, De'Aaron Fox obviously was the GOAT last time out, but now knowing Chris Paul was there, I think it was pretty hyper efficient. I think it looked even better. Obviously, got to over that 10 plus for us there in the premium Discord, and then obviously talked you through the ins and outs of it. Anybody who asked me about the De'Aaron Fox ladder had the post out about it. Hopefully, you got that information, but I think we're kind of moving our sights over to the Charlotte side of things. Dalton Knecht. I think you give him lots of minutes right from the get-go, because who else is out there? KJ Simpson, Nick Smith Jr. If you have Dalton Knecht playing and that trade is officially gone through, you're going to see Dalton Knecht on my card in some capacity. You're also, if Jusuf Nurkic plays in this game, going to see tons of Jusuf Nurkic. I mean, we're just going to nuke it like crazy, because Jusuf Nurkic. It's like Crash Bandicoot. It sounds cool. Anyway, Charlotte, we're just going to put all of this on the bottom bar. Dalton Knecht and Jusuf Nurkic, Stat Inferno if Ball is out, because we want Ball to be out. And then Fox assist ladder part 2, question mark. Very curious to see if he gets jumped up to 7.5 in a worse matchup than we had for Atlanta, in which case I'm probably going to be off of it. But this Dalton Knecht, Jusuf Nurkic thing, have it on high alert. I'm going to be waiting. I'm going to be getting up extra early to try to jump as soon as those props are available and we get some news about Nurkic's potential status. If he sits, I apologize for all of this. All right, now you know that is going to be a prop-centric spot. This is prop-centric to some degree too. Cleveland minus 16.5 taking on Washington. They trade Karis LeVert for DeAndre Hunter. I didn't really see that one coming, mainly because think it's kind of a wash. I know Karis LeVert did not look good last time out, but that's such a short-term way of looking at it. Karis LeVert's a very good basketball player, and I don't think it's like a one-for-one DeJounte Murray thing, but DeJounte Murray doesn't knock down shots. Karis LeVert can when he's healthy, which I just don't think he is at the moment. But Hunter can go in and knock down a shot for sure for Cleveland, and that's just more wing depth for them, more toys in the old kitchen, I suppose. Again, it just depends on what you're looking for, and I think Cleveland just recognized that they're very guard heavy. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, and of course, Ty Jerome, who's really come along for the ride. With Karis LeVert gone, Ty Jerome is going to be playing 20, 22, 24 minutes guaranteed tonight, and we've seen lots of ways where he's played his way into closing lineups. He is going to be knocking down shots ad nauseum, and I can't remember a line that was this big since, well, a game that we're going to get to later in the day that I already have a bet on. My one bet of the day is actually a spread that's higher than 16.5. Bet you can guess which one that is. Oh, I can't believe I'm about to do that. Well, not about to. I already did, so it's official. Anyway, we're looking at Cleveland 16.5 with Ty Jerome, your 15 plus. What is Washington doing, man? They end up trading away everybody. They're not going to be keeping anybody. Poole, Smart, I think he's going to get traded. He's going to get let go. Malcolm Brogdon's out. Sarr's out. Brogdon, I don't know if stays with this team. Chris Middleton's technically on the team, but there's a trade pending. They're trying to move him. I have no idea what's going on with Washington. All I know is that they gonna suck still. Milwaukee at Atlanta, and this is one that I'm actually interested in some capacity because Atlanta, they seem a little bit undervalued to me. Now, George Niang also got traded there from Cleveland to this Atlanta team. He came along with Karis LeVert, but there's also Terrence Mann and Bones Highland, and I think Terrence Mann is a lot better than the end of his Cleveland tenure. It was pretty brutal this season from an offensive perspective, but I don't know. Maybe he can find some form here because I think he's going to get some run for Atlanta. George Niang, I think, probably starts right from the get-go, and I think there could be some offensive opportunities for him from three. Really want to see his three-point lines at open, so keep that in mind. As for Milwaukee, I think this is your starting lineup. Once again, as long as that trade goes through with Washington by tomorrow. Can you tell how annoyed I am trying to figure out exactly who's playing and not? Especially when I go by sim-based player, like I literally use player data to inform how I go about simming a game 10,000 times. This is just a disaster for me this week. But Dame Lillard, I think Andre Jackson stays there. And I think you see Kyle Kuzma inserted into that starting lineup. If not him, they could, I guess, go Bobby Portis, but that's just weird to me. They haven't started Bobby Portis alongside Giannis Brook Lopez, period. And Kevin Porter Jr. did just get traded for. I think he's a guy who could get mixed in, probably going to be running the second unit instead of Ryan Rollins is my guess, but I don't know. I really don't understand what's going on here with some of these teams. They're teams like the Lakers. I know exactly why you did what you did, but just incompetent in other places. Either way, I'm looking at Atlanta here, potentially at plus 5.5. That's a big number. I want this thing to get to 6.5, maybe 7. Then we can really tango. But something tells me Milwaukee, just the new pieces, new shiny toy. People are probably more interested there. You had Atlanta trade off DeAndre Hunter. But as long as Karis LeVert plays, as long as he's going to be active for this, I don't know. There's too many moving pieces for now for me to put money on it. All right, Miami at Brooklyn. Slowest paced team by a country mile, these Brooklyn Nets. They go down to around 93.5 possessions per 48. Sorry, 93.5 per 48 minutes. That's exactly what I was trying to say. But Miami, they're not exactly up-tempo themselves. And we have so many moving pieces for them, too. I mean, they end up keeping Bam Adebayo. They end up keeping Tyler Hero. I mean, they were always going to keep those two. But Khalil Wares played himself into some more minutes. And now we have to deal with Andrew Wiggins. Does that trade end up through? Trade pending. Kyle Anderson. I think he's going to get disappeared off to somewhere else, greener pastures, Detroit, or wherever they're talking about. As for Jovic, he's been awesome off the bench for them, but I can't really get involved too much right now. And then Davion Mitchell now traded over there to Miami. Doubt he gets a lot of run in this first opportunity. In fact, I could see them just letting Davion Mitchell go at some point in time. You got to make the money work. Again, that is not my job. My job is to see who is active, evaluate their basketball, and then put my money where my mouth is. My money is telling me Bam Adebayo 5+ assists. Now, Tyler Hero, 7.5. We'll see kind of where that opening number is on him as well. Not as interested in that high variance outcome, but Bam Adebayo had some terrible foul trouble last game, 11 minutes in the first half, and it really muted his chance of going over 4.5 assists. We had a plus money play on that one, I believe, plus 110. If it's going to be 4.5 here, I'm just going to run it back because his potential assists, he's been running poorly, and Miami has not been knocking down shots. When a center gets the ball down low, they kick it out to shooters primarily. You saw a lot of potential assists the last few games with very little reward. I think Bam Adebayo 5+ assists. Want to see what the opening price is because, again, very slow pace. Oh, yeah, Brooklyn should probably cover them. They did, like, nothing. Inexplicably nothing. Cam Johnson is still on the Nets. What are we doing here, NBA? Well, I'll help you figure out the NBA. First week, first month, 50. Lindy 50 down at the code below. And then you go to the video description box below. Come jump into my Discord. Get the OS app, which is completely free. Check the tails portion of it out. We also have Portfolio EV for the people. If you're into market-based betting, which is fantastic, by the way, really nice way to go about building that bankroll every single day with tons of positive expected value plays. But if you want to get all of my specific plays catered through my projections, in addition to some Portfolio EV goodness, first week, $10, first month, 25 with Lindy 50 down at the link below. Back to the picks we go. 3 games to go. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we talk Philly -2.5 against Detroit. And Detroit, Cade Cunningham is questionable, and that's the only thing that gets me off of wanting to bet this game because, yes, you got Joel Embiid in. Yes, you've got Tyrese Maxey, who's been awesome in. Kelly Oubre, Paul George. Philly's going to look a lot better here in this second half of the season, but Dennis Schroeder just getting picked up here by Detroit. I think that's a really good pickup for them because I like somebody who can handle the ball in that second unit, and that's just not Malik Beasley, who's coming off the bench for this team. I mean, Cade Cunningham has had to play 38, 40 minutes a night, and he's been awesome, but I think that defensive efficiency goes down a little bit, and Dennis Schroeder can definitely play with the ball in his hands. Also, play off ball. Didn't work there in Golden State because he's not a knockdown shooter the way that they kind of are looking for a Buddy Hield to fill that spot next to Steph Curry, and obviously Steph Curry wants somebody creating for him. Not always going to be Dennis Schroeder, who's more of like a mid-range specialist, and then obviously can just kind of do a little bit of that dirty work. But he's a better defender. Should have gotten a little bit longer leash. Can't believe it didn't work out in Golden State, but Steve Kerr didn't really give him the leash to figure it out. So I want to see if he ends up in for this game, but I also need Cade Cunningham, and he's the priority, and he's questionable. For what it's worth, Yabusele is also questionable, but Cade's going to move the needle way more. Lean like, if I knew Cade was playing, I would want 2.5 for sure going up against Philly. But as for right now, really hard to know. To my only bet so far here on Thursday night, man, what a time to be alive. The Toronto Raptors, 18. Now, there's only one place where 18 is available. Everywhere else is 19 or 19.5. It is at DraftKings where you can get Oklahoma City right now at -18. I would bet them up to 19.5. I think they win this game very handily because what did Toronto do? I can't even explain what Toronto did at the deadline. First off, Davion Mitchell sent off to Miami. You also have Brandon Ingram, who was acquired from New Orleans out of the middle of nowhere. We have Jakob Poeltl, who's out for this game. RJ Barrett, who's out for this game. Neither of them got traded, but also PJ Tucker came along as a back from Miami, and there's like talks that he could potentially play tomorrow. Why would he play tomorrow? There's no point. He needs to get released, and they need to get that money compensated. Chris Boucher wasn't even in the rotation last game. Jamal Shedd ended up starting with Jacoby Walter, Grady Dick. I think Scotty Barnes also obviously going to be playing the 4, but basically point guard. And Jonathan Mogbo, probably your starting center with Jakob Poeltl out here. Behind him, Orlando Robinson. What are we actually freaking doing here, Toronto? Oh, yeah, Oklahoma City didn't do anything, which didn't make me happy because they have 1 million picks and they didn't want to part with Isaiah Joe or anything and any kind of a compensation back for Cam Johnson. So they didn't trade Cam Johnson. But the big news for me, this could be the first opportunity we get to see our Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren on the floor together because first time in months since the first couple weeks of the season, Chet Holmgren is off the injury report. Holy shit, Toronto, you are so fucked. In our last game of the night, producer Jacob said that he didn't like the last ending to my last game. So you know what? I'm not going to give you jack diddly squat here. Oh, actually, no. We're not going to. The sins of our producers will not be taken out on our audience. Bad Jacob. God, I really need to bet Jalen Hurts MVP plus 380. It keeps going up. It keeps going up, dude. Kansas City will win then. It's just going to make me mad. Utah plus 7.5 taking on Phoenix here in this spot. Friends, the Utah Jazz didn't do anything at the deadline. Like KJ Martin, Josh Richardson, why are they there? What is actually going on? They didn't trade anybody. Now, they couldn't have traded Lauri Markkanen. That was like impossible. But Clarkson, Sexton, how are they both still there? How are they both still there? And then Kevin Durant's questionable here. They end up picking up Vasilij Micic. What are we actually doing? Bradley Beal's still on the Suns? Over 231.5, but I would need to know that Beal plays. I would need to know that Durant plays. I would need to know that Lauri Markkanen's officially going to be in for this one. He's off the injury report, so I assume he will be, but you never know. And Cody Williams is also questionable, but Jordan Clarkson's out. Colin Sexton's out. Guys, this is the longest year of my life. Let's get ourselves into next week and start afresh. And that does it for a quick 15. A nice tight 15 here. Edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for this insane slate before us. I don't know why I couldn't say the word slate. Thank you, producer Jacob, I think. You're always nice sometimes. Another week in the books. Again, I know it was crazy, but if you follow me at Eric Lindquist, you're getting all the props, all of my research as I'm working through these games, highlighting my favorite spots to target, giving you every piece of information you need if you're betting props in the NBA streets. And that Charlotte San Antonio game is going to have something. There is going to be something for me to nuke. I know it's coming. Yusuf Nurkic. Oh, he is going to put up crazy stats if he gets many minutes for Charlotte. There's nobody else there. You know what else he does at every other place he's ever been? Portland, Denver, when there was nobody else. He puts up stats. Nikola Jokic was there. I think they made the right decision. Anyway, now it's not over 15. Now it's over 15 minutes. Thank you, producer Jacob. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Friday. We'll see you guys on Monday.